Hi, I'm Bekker, and today I want to talk to you about asset protection, specifically as it relates to your family and your family's assets. Now, why is this important? For the simple reason that at the end of the day, your family assets are still at risk in the event of your passing or sequestration, or for that matter any other manner of litigation. So let's quickly look at the most common threats to the family assets. And of course, we need to first of all include the revenue service in that. Because remember, any assets that you have that is liable for capital gains tax, that would be as any secondary properties, any bonds that you might have, any shares that you might have. They look at it as if you sold it the day prior to your passing. In other words, capital gains tax are liable to be paid. Now remember, it wasn't in fact sold, so with what are you going to pay it? And that means it falls towards your estate or your heirs to end up paying that. But with what are they going to pay it if your estate is frozen, as it happens to be on the day of your passing, or if your estate is completely illiquid, in other words there's no money in your estate? So they need to get money from somewhere to pay capital gains tax. And then what happens is your assets, which was not sold, still falls towards your estate. And the moment that it falls towards your estate, and your estate is over 3.5 million rand, then estate duty tax also falls due, and that's an additional 20% of whatever that amount is that's over 3.5 million. So your family ends up paying 30% and more of your estate's value towards the revenue service. And just to put even more salt on that wound, remember, this is secondary taxes. In other words, it's taxes on assets that you bought with money that you already pay tax on initially. So really, I don't know about you, but I don't like paying the revenue service anything more than I absolutely need to pay them. And that is one of the biggest reasons why asset protection are so crucially important. Then we're not even talking about sequestration or any other form of court action that might be taken. And remember, that individual, be that a creditor or any other person, are still looking for their money and they need to be paid. So how do you go about getting the correct asset protection strategy in place? First of all, you need to make 3 lists. The first list is a list of your assets, and with that I mean all your assets, not just your physical assets. It must include any stocks that you might have, any bonds that you might have, any of that stuff goes to the asset list. Then the second list is a liabilities list, and again any and every single liability that you know of must be set out on it. And the third list then is any structures that you might already have and that you think can act to protect you. Because remember, at the end of the day, yes, I can give you the cookie cutter formula, but it's not a do-it-yourself type thing to get proper asset protection. Remember that it's not what you know, it's what you don't know that's placing your assets at risk, and that can cause other people to come in and take it. Remember, we live in a society where it's much easier to take from other individuals than it is to actually build up your own asset list. And I don't know about you, but I don't like that idea very much. So once you've got those lists, get hold of an asset protection attorney, asset protection specialist like myself, and sit down and have an open, honest and frank discussion about the assets that you have, the lists, the structures, and let us look at it in depth. Because from there we can advise you, okay, get a company that falls within a trust and whatever else is necessary, and we can even tell you, listen, get the relevant insurance to make sure that your family is provided for, that the creditors are provided for, and get your house in order. Remember that if you come to us to get the stuff in place only after you have been sued, after judgment has been granted, it's too late. Then there's nothing we can do about it anymore. And the same, if your family comes to us after your passing, there's nothing we can do about it. We need to get these things in place before it is necessary, and so that you can protect your money, your wealth, your legacy from there on forward. So estate planning is crucial, insurance is crucial, structures are crucial, and we need to get all of this in place to protect the family assets, because you're working hard to make provision for those that are close to your heart, near and dear to your heart. And you'll note, I'm not just talking about family. It can be any person, any individual, any company that you decide must inherit. Because we live in South Africa where we've got the right to make any designation in our last wills. So it is not just for your family, but for anybody that you deem to be necessary. So it's absolutely crucial that you get the correct information, get the correct implementation. And remember, it's no different than getting a second medical opinion. I mean, you go to a doctor, he gives you a certain diagnosis, you don't like it, or you say, you know what, I just want to get a secondary opinion. Great, get it, and have peace of mind that you are getting the best you can. And the same with asset protection. I'm not saying leave your attorney, leave your accountant, but did he provide you with the absolute best advice as it is currently applicable? Remember, the law changes, and if you don't stay up to date with these things, then your structures might fall out of date, and you need to manage these asset protection strategies in the correct manner, because at the end of the day, say you go through a divorce and you had a trust but you ran it as a little fiefdom, you did not manage it correctly, then your soon-to-be former ex, soon-to-be ex, can approach court and say, listen, this trust was only a sham trust, and therefore it must be disregarded. And then the court can give that to them. And again, you and your assets are then placed at risk in the process. Again, I'm Bekker, and my contact details is in the description below. So please reach out to us and let us give you that second opinion, that advice and direction.